Okay, so here's that video I promised you guys. I'm starting the video now while I'm eating my lunch.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Mark Sudduth here, Lakeland, Florida.
I'm going to be watching Mark
Sudduth.
Sudduth.
It's time for a very important update again.
While I'm eating my food.
Afternoon here on Tuesday, October the 8th. A lot of important stuff to go over. I'm going to try to squeeze out all of the stuff that I have learned over the past 25 to 30 years in my work studying hurricanes, meteorologically and the social aspect, the meetings that I've gone to, the conferences, the colleagues that I have made, all of us in the business, whether it's myself, people in the media, and on social media, even people that have no college training for this stuff. I do, went to college for it, but it doesn't matter now. Now we're all trying to work together.
Amen.
To get the pertinent information out that can, number one, save your life, and number two, hopefully mitigate property damage. But this is one of those situations where we need to prepare for the after part. What is it all going to look like when the sun comes up during the day on Thursday? Kind of a grim way to view this, but we've got to face the reality.
Okay, so for anybody watching me react to this, he's talking about primarily the West Coast and Central Florida. The East Coast is not going to feel the full effects of these storms until likely Wednesday night into Thursday, all day Thursday, and into Friday morning. That's just the facts of what I understand. So anybody on the East Coast, anywhere up and down past Orange County, on the physical East Coast side of Florida, through the central part, as far up and through as far as Daytona, and even into Jacksonville with the swells and the impacts, you guys are going to be feeling this storm sometime through Wednesday, most likely, like I said, Wednesday midnight, the starts of the affected swells, as these swells and things are going to start hitting the West Coast, already start of today into tonight, and then officially making landfall and impact on Wednesday. Thursday is when we on the East Coast, through the later half of the state of Florida, is going to get the full effect. But I'm going to let him continue.
We're going to be dealing with an historic hurricane for the state of Florida.
Very true.
After we just had one a couple of weeks ago. So let me get started and show you the first and most important aspect of all of this. The storm surge will be destructive, extremely life-threatening, as the storm surge unit themselves have posted here on social media. And this is very important. The numbers have not changed, and hopefully they don't go up. That could still happen. We're talking 10 to 15 feet in the purple, 5 to 10 feet in the red, 4 to 7 feet down near Collier, parts of Lee County, maybe the border there, Naples, and points north, not good at all. And this you need to take seriously. Don't be worrying about the category or what the wind is and try to...
Kind of like a clip of what he's showing.
You need to worry about the water rise above ground level. And if this happens near high tide, it'll be at the peak levels that we see here.
That's the danger.
Storm surge is
right
very
there.
intricate and very difficult.
So pay attention to that. I'm going to post links in the description along with the link to this video. All credits are to Mark Sudduth and the Hurricane Track channel on YouTube.
Expect up to 10 to 15 feet, for example, in those purple areas and so forth. So you could have higher, you could have much lower. It all depends on the little nooks and crannies. Florida, the West Coast is very filled with all kinds of passes and little bays, and you've got barrier islands and the shapes of the coastline. It all is going to matter. But the bottom line is National Hurricane Center Storm Surge Unit saying an extremely life-threatening situation. And to make it worse, it is going to happen overnight tomorrow night. We're not going to get the advantage of daytime.
Right.
I don't want to discount or ignore at all.
We on the East Coast will get the daytime. Well,
here
midnight into all day, and then into all midnight Thursday, into Friday morning.
Can be destructive. You can have some serious damage and overwash, beach erosion, and if you're not careful and you don't use common sense, this too can be
common sense.
So please take the storm surge forecasts seriously.
Yes, storm. Anybody on the coast, take it seriously.
Bring our camera systems out, and I'm going to talk about that as we wrap up today's update here. So the National Hurricane Center, let's start closing some tabs.
In regards to when he's talking about
11 o'clock a.m.
midnight Wednesday,
advisory package,
like I said, we're not going to feel that.
All the information that you
East Coast.
That's not always included in the intermediate advisory. The intermediate is just like an update. And we see that the pressure continues to come up from the extreme lows of yesterday, which is certainly good. The wind is still 150 miles per hour. But the most important thing I want to look at in here, and I talked about this yesterday and again from my morning update, is this part right here in the public advisory. The discussion in the outlook, and specifically the hurricane force wind and the tropical storm force wind fields. They have not changed yet. Hurricane force winds extend outward up to 30 miles. And then the tropical storm force winds outward up to 105 miles. We need to keep an eye on this. You can do so yourselves. When these updates come out, you simply look for the public advisory on the National Hurricane Center homepage, and you scroll down to where it says, I'll just show you one more time, public advisory, and you scroll down through all of this. This is important stuff too, certainly, but that wind information is very, very important. And if we see this wind field expand more, then we know we're going to have a bigger surge over a bigger area. And that's just how that works. The surge is caused mostly by the wind, the shape of the coastline, the depth of the water, and the timing of the tides. All right? Very interesting.
And I'll show you guys
from our friend
what
Eric
he's showing
Webb.
by backing up,
And I wanted to bring
showing
this
that part
up
in the video.
because it's got a lot of in the weeds meteorology, and I can show you how this translates into real time.
So the part he's breaking down,
Eric said earlier, and here, and I talked about this yesterday and again from my morning update, is this part right here in the public advisory. The discussion in the outlook, and specifically the hurricane force wind and the tropical storm force wind fields.
he's talking about
They have not
finding the
changed
information
yet.
on the national weather,
Hurricane force winds
national
extend
hurricane
outward
weather.
up to 30 miles. And
Yep.
then the tropical storm force winds.
So
And you scroll down through all of this. This is important.
he's jumping a little fast,
But the most important thing I want to look at in here, and I've talked about this
but you got to find
yesterday and again from my morning up.
on the national weather. Let me show you guys. Okay, I'll just do it myself. This is his own thing. So like when you're on the national weather, you're going to see this right here. I know it's not really clear. When you're on that page, you're going to look for, at the very top, you're going to go to U.S. watches and warnings. Like when you're looking up Hurricane Milton from the National Hurricane Center and you're on their main page, on the home page. When you're on the main homepage, you can easily select from the home page. You'll see this main page with just Milton, and if you physically select on Milton, just like you're about to see me do, okay, I come over here and I touch Milton on the map, it's going to start to load this storm. I'll touch it again, try to get an indication if I want to see the info on Milton. It will show all the stuff you just talked about with the major warnings. So some of those warnings that will already shown on that page. I'm sorry if it's not, obviously you can't read it upside down. You can easily go to analysis and forecast at the top of the page, and it's going to pull up all of this. You get all these options, and you can dig in through everything in here. But exclusively what he's talking about is how you select the U.S. watch and warning. And it will give you a lot of this detailed information. It's not the source information he specifically pinpoints. He's talking about the public advisory. So public advisory is also an option. If you go back, it's public advisory is like at the very, very top. That little tiny one. It's the one I just highlighted, and that will give it to you. So just go to the first link that I give you. Find the analysis top part. Analysis and forecast, scroll down from there, or you can even find don't bother with anything else really, just analysis and forecasts. And on the computer it's easier because on a smartphone you have to kind of drag down and drop and individually select which one you want. But what you're looking for, if you do the drop down and drag, you're kind of basically looking for like tropical cyclone products, and it's still going to take you to this page right here, the main page, and then you're going to be looking for basically everything at this top section right here, all this stuff on top. And the very first one, public advisory 15, there's forecast advisory 15. You really want to be sticking with public advisory number 15. It was released at 4 p.m. CDT. So we're going to go back to Mark. I'll post a link in the description to the National Weather Service there, but we're going to finish him as he's talking more.
The most important thing I want to look at in here, and I talked about this yesterday and again from my morning update, is this part right here in the public advisory. The discussion and the outlook, and specifically the hurricane force wind and the tropical storm force wind fields. They have not changed yet. Hurricane force winds extend outward up to 30 miles.
Public advisory 15.
Tropical storm force winds outward up to 105 miles. We need to keep an eye
Public
on
advisory 15, number 15. That's what it says. Public advisory,
simply look for
hashtag pound symbol 15.
on the National Hurricane
That's the
Center
one.
homepage, and you scroll down to where it says, I'll just show you one more time, public advisory. Then you scroll down through all of this. This is important stuff too, certainly, but that wind information is very, very important. And if we see this wind field expand more, then we know we're going to have a bigger surge over a bigger area. And that's just how that works. The surge is caused mostly by the wind, the shape of the coastline, the depth of the water, and the timing of the tides. All right? Very interesting post here from our friend Eric Webb. And I wanted to bring this up because it's got a lot of in-the-weeds meteorology, and I can show you how this translates into real time. Eric said earlier, Hurricane Milton's eye wall replacement cycle that began late yesterday is finished this morning, and Milton has weakened slightly to a Category 4 hurricane.
But it changed.
With a much larger overall wind field.
Right, so when it got that larger wind field, you guys saw from my last short, Milton gained strength again.
This morning, and
I just saw it at 5 o'clock. It probably gained strength.
Into the upshear.
This was released 4 hours ago.
Of the storm. This is an indication.
Mark Sudduth is reporting on this 4 hours ago, and doesn't mean he's off. It just means when he looked at it, it was a Category 4.
Interesting, and we should be really grateful
4 hours
for people like Eric that put out insightful, detailed, albeit very technical information. Milton's overall environment will be favorable for re-intensification today as well. Increasing oceanic heat content associated with the loop current, coupled with the ageostrophic divergence aloft, which is air spreading out, and its juxtaposition, which, meaning that's in the proximity of, near the right entrance region of a jet streak over the southeast U.S., will be conducive, all of those factors, to re-intensification, maybe back to Category 5 hurricane later today or tonight. So, to put it in layman's terms, and again, we appreciate Eric's technicalities, but I want to make it really easy to understand. This is the upper ocean heat content map here from cyclonicweather.com from Alex. We appreciate it. Simple to use. I love maps, obviously. That is the available heat content that Milton will be moving into as it makes its way up toward Florida. And what is upper ocean heat content? Let me talk about that for a second. So instead of just a thin layer of 80 degrees or 84 degrees or whatever of warm water, that warm water extends very deep into the ocean. So the hurricane is just whipping up, literally almost pulverizing the ocean surface and making it into a fine mist, feeding it right into that eye wall. And when you just pull up more and more warm water because of how deep that 80-degree isotherm is, the lines of equal temperatures, we call it, that's just more warm water. It's high-octane fuel.
Yes, I just posted.
So
thank you, Mark, and your team. And I saw there at 5 o'clock that Milton got back up to Category 5.
All up here to the north.
So basically,
I want you to notice something on this particular map.
Watch this video.
This is one of the hurricane models.
I'm watching
Look at
it.
how these lines here, these height lines, or not the height lines, your stream lines are spreading out. They're not just parallel. There's a greater distance here. They're not, like these are parallel more or less right up here.
He's talking about.
These are not. That is that air spreading out. Divergence in the atmosphere above a hurricane is key, because you have to have the air coming in at the surface, going up, and then getting evacuated out.
That was perfect capture I got there, so you guys can see that.
The more it can intensify, and it brings that air in
personally
faster and faster.
amazing what he does.
Force,
just to explain it so clear for us.
Counterclockwise, and this is such an incredible amount of energy up here.
I mean, I understood from
far
like
to the
middle school
north
how hurricanes
to
work,
get
but
that air out of there.
this digs
And
a
that
heck
is
of a
what
lot deeper.
Eric is pointing out here, and I appreciate that he posted this because it allows me
Yeah, thank you, Eric.
kind of illustrate
Thank you.
that for you in somewhat dramatic fashion with my hand movements there, right? Talking with your hands. But so
Yeah, I'm half Italian. I always talk with my
that
hands.
is favorable. All right, and true to form, here we go. It is
Ooh,
already
whoa.
starting to make a
Look at that.
The eye is going to clear out.
That's
The
way
eye
before.
will
That's
warm
4 hours ago.
because you have sinking air substance inside the eye. And as the eye
So,
temperature warms, and
this is
Recon will be able
4
to tell us
hours
that.
ago.
The difference between the eye temperature right in here, let's use white to really make, we'll use sky blue, make it pop out. The difference between the eye temperature inside and then just outside of it, that contrast really helps to understand that the hurricane is undergoing rapid intensification. And we saw that yesterday. The warmer, the more clear the eye gets, we know that Milton is on its way to strengthening again. And it probably is right now. This is the, see if this is updated yet. Yay, it did. Perfect timing. Thank you, Noah.
Yeah,
so
Noah,
updated,
right,
and this
Noah.
shows us the anomalies, the departures from the long-term average. And there is that loop current. You can clearly see it.
Yep,
in the
so
anomaly
it has
pattern
regained
here.
Category 5
Milton
straight.
has to cross
It just is
that.
breaking
And
news.
then what I am very concerned about, and
I caught it
zoom in
at
on
5
this,
o'clock. I didn't think I
is
was
the power
like
of
doing
the
anything special,
Firefox
but
here.
apparently I was first uploaded
There
on my
we go.
channel. I
What
saw
I
it,
am really
Category
concerned
5.
about, obviously Milton is going to come across the loop current and make its way up into Florida here. It's this area right here, this extra area of above average sea surface temperatures right up against the coast of Florida. And it literally goes right up against the coast. So this is not going to encounter cooler shelf water. And so I want to come back on and say something
All my apps are
extremely
just like
unnerving. We're not getting out of this one. It's not going to happen. There is not going to be this, well, it encountered cooler shelf water. We weren't anticipating that. It deviated left or right and made its way into cooler water. No, there is no cooler water. This one has got us. Okay? Is it going to be directly into Tampa Bay? I don't know. That's probably our top tier worst nightmare.
Tampa Bay,
but let's not forget
top
the
tier
areas
concern.
South. And I'm going to focus
Yes,
on that when we get
everything
to our
south. He's going to
interactive
dig
map
into
in just a
this
minute.
right here.
But we're not getting out of this. Okay? This is going to happen. And it is going to be very, very bad. And we
There's
need
no getting out of
people
this,
to
everybody.
get the
We need to
bleep
stay
out of
together,
the
stay
way.
calm,
You
stay
gotta
safe,
go.
make
You gotta
preparations,
go in and help people if they need it.
help if you
If they're
can.
refusing to go and they're right there in these storm surge areas, please beg
If you know
them
anybody
to
in the
go.
storm surge
If
area,
they're worried
Mark's
about
saying
their
it right
animal
here.
coming with them,
Go
figure it
save,
out.
get them
You just need to
motivated,
get
get them
them
out of
the
there.
storm surge zone.
Urge them to
You
get
do
to
not need to
safety.
take them
Get out of the
to
storm
Atlanta.
surge
You can find
zones.
a public shelter. I know they
Find
are not
public
the most
shelters,
pleasant. Cots.
even if they're
Who
not the
wants it?
most,
Sleeping bags.
as he's saying right
I think
here.
that's all better than coffins.
Yeah,
Don't
that
you?
is
I
better
do.
than coffins. I'd
Yeah.
rather be in a shelter
So
than be in a coffin, wouldn't
this is
you?
not good. And that
No
is
matter
an
how stubborn you
understatement.
are, Florida,
Everything we
nobody
see
can
out here in the
replace you.
Atlantic
You are
Basin
an individual
warmer
native
than
Floridian.
average.
You have a
So
story to
what does
tell.
the GFS think?
We want to
Now, I've
see
got
you
the 12
alive
feet.
after this
Here
storm.
it is. We're going to look at the southeast extent, and we're going to stick to the 10-meter wind field and the mean sea level pressure, which, global models haven't been too good on that, right? So where's Milton? I think you can see it right down here
Wow.
in the left-hand corner.
Just
of the
look
phone.
at this.
It's this page.
This is 4
So
hours
I'm
ago.
first
Just look at
scoops
that.
this through because I want you to see how the wind field gets bigger. Clearly, it gets bigger. See that? The wind field expands, and then it makes landfall. Something glitched
Ooh,
there.
that's going to
Sorry.
be not.
Then it makes
Oh,
landfall right across the southern part.
that's definitely St.
Tampa Bay.
Petersburg.
Maybe the eye
St.
comes in
Petersburg,
over
Tampa.
Sarasota. Hard to know for
St.
sure.
Petersburg's Tampa is looking at a direct hit, if
It
not
matters, but it doesn't matter.
even
You see
further
how big
north
that
from
wind
there.
field is. And so
It's
let's
gonna.
see who's red here.
I mean, I don't think the eyewall's hitting
Everything
Tampa, but I
from
think it's going to
Tampa
be
Bay
scraping right
south
through
is
it
gonna
and
get a
clear.
sizable storm surge because of that onshore
Even if I
flow.
look at a
Then,
separate thing to
at the
show
dead of
you.
night, horrifying, Milton comes across south of the I-4
So it's
corridor,
aiming
exiting
for
darn near Cape Canaveral.
Tarpon
I'm
Springs
sure
and
NASA
Spring
is,
Hill,
and SpaceX
based
are
on where
paying
that
close
is coming
attention.
from. Like, it's going to
And then you've got the
come
real big problem here of that northeast flow
from like way out here in the
driving
ocean.
a storm surge into places like St. Augustine up here to the north.
Okay, it's coming
Palm
in.
Coast, Ormond Beach, Daytona, possibly, depending on how intact the circulation is. And this is going to be Thursday afternoon. So this
Really
part
sorry
of it at
about
least
this.
will be in the daytime.
Everything's kind of like
all right?
blurry.
So then it goes out
But
into the ocean.
it's coming in.
And,
it's going to come
sails
in.
off into the sunset, into the history books. But it comes in, looks like on the GFS.
It's going to come straight up
south of the
from
bay.
here and
that
come
doesn't
right
mean,
up.
Hey, we're off the hook, Tampa Bay, woohoo! I will show you. I will explain it.
It's going to come
Let me jump
right.
over here to the tracking
The
map,
eye is going
all
to
right?
come right in here.
So let's zoom in because I want to make
Right
sure
into
we
Spring
understand
Hill,
exactly what we're looking at here, and we
Crystal
don't
River,
ignore
Eye
these
Wall.
areas to the south.
It's going to scrape right
a
past
lot of attention, and I totally understand it.
all of this.
Being paid to
Clearwater,
the Tampa
St.
Bay
Petersburg,
region.
Anna
I get it,
Maria
we all do.
Island, Sarasota.
But
It's getting
with
hit
the
dead on.
landfall,
Walt Disney
as the
World
hurricane
is going to be
center showing
right
on their track
in
map
the
here,
worst, pretty much
just
worst,
south
but
of
not
the bay
direct
would be center,
hit. But here is going to be the most
everything
worst area.
south of that center
He's already talked
is in
about
that
this in
right
past
front
videos.
quadrant
Onshore
where the
flow,
wind is just
as this
funneled
gets
in,
pushing
and
through,
there's no getting out of it. And
this
you're
is going to
have
become
surge from Naples
surge here
north.
to here
The
to
worst
here,
of it, let's see if I can use
to even
like
as far
blue
north
here,
as
would
he's
be
talking about,
probably right in this area through here.
right here through
Maybe
Crystal
even down to
River,
Punta Gorda,
Naples, Tarpon
especially if this
Springs,
comes even more
even
south.
down here,
So
Cape Coral.
huge focus on Tampa for
Wait here.
obvious reasons that I want to make it very clear. The people south of here, Sarasota, Venice, all the way down to Port Charlotte, I think are in grave danger of an annihilating cataclysmic storm surge, especially with any of these little nooks and crannies in here. Let's just really zoom in.
Apart from me making you all dizzy looking at that, I'm sorry. I realize it's not good conscious video feed.
Shape. Right here, a little bit of another one right there.
I can't really turn the camera.
Into Sarasota. All of that says to me, bad surge. Down here in Venice.
Yeah, he's not kidding.
All of these different river systems. I mean, you got.
So guys, watch this video, okay? I'm going to cut it off right now. I'm going to finish watching this, but I'm going to post the link in so you guys get on top of this right away. Thank you for watching. I'm going to finish watching this. Check the link in the description for all the details.